Welcome to Vindaria, a world-building CMP where 10 creative builders work collaboratively to build an RPG map in Minecraft. Each builder has a region to terraform, craft, build, and create adventures, quests, dungeons, and more. But we'll find plenty of reasons to come together to create shared experiences as well. So join us on this incredible adventure as we craft the world of Vindaria. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of the Vindaria SMP. I'm Jake Kelton, and boy does it feel good to finally say that. I'll talk a little more about the project later in the episode, but for now, I'd love to introduce you to a few of my new friends who are joining me. So for myself, Calvin MC in the background, Jaron and Rubik's Potato are on the server currently. Benji was on here earlier. He got a little bit of a head start. We all have ourselves some regions, and I myself am planning on turning my region into a custom biome. It's going to have a bunch of really cool elements that I'm super excited about to share with all of y'all because I've been working on this design for a while. But in the background, we have ourselves some amazing people as well. If you all want to introduce yourselves, starting with Jaron over here on the left. Does not have a microphone tonight, so we'll just be messaging in chat if you want to say hi. Hello, I'm Jaron. I gave you a voice tonight. Calvin MC.
Hello everyone. My name is Calvin, and I plan to also make a custom biome. I'm going to go for the cathedral theme, merged with some nature elements, and of course, a lot of lore.
A lot of lore. We are all here for the lore. Rubik's Potato, what you got?
Yes, hello. I, am the Buildstone Wizard. Not too good at building, so I'll probably be taking a lot of tips. My theme, well, it'll be musical. I'll tell you that much.
Nice.
Ooh.
I like that you're, what would you say? Percentage-wise, 20% build, 80% stone? Or 10% build, 90% stone?
That's probably accurate. Somewhere around there.
And Jaron was messaging earlier saying that he's planning on building let's see here, ruins of a recovering civilization with a focus on building lore with a bunch of custom willow trees, which I'm really excited about because custom trees are kind of hard to do. And despite having built many of them myself, I'm always like, I love watching videos of people talk about how they design trees. Very cool. Anything anyone want to share?
Trees are the best.
They are. That's actually one of the things I'm going to be focused on in my area is a whole lot of custom trees. But I plan on stealing Axiom and doing a lot of copying and pasting and spinning around some stuff. So that way I don't have to hand build literally every single one. It would take me an eternity to hand build all of them.
I saw Axiom's tree building potential with like all of the tools for cloning and rotating and whatnot. Seems pretty good.
Oh yeah. I have all the tricks for tree building with Axiom, so if anyone needs help with that, I'm the guy.
I'll just download your Axiom knowledge into my head, and that way I can use it.
Yeah. So are we free to explore?
You are free to explore and to go and have fun. Let's go.
I don't have food.
The start of all SMP, CMPs. Boom. That Rubik's Potato goes just flying off.
This is crazy. I'm so used to the beginning of a SMP where everything is survival and chopping trees. This is kind of like, okay, flight time. Wilderness. Oh, I found your place.
Yes,
Wait,
my place is right over here. This area right here is going to be my area where we're going to take this forest and we're going to turn it all into a custom forest. And so I have a lot of deforestation that's going to take place over here. This place is called, there we go, the Amberwoods by Jake Kelton. Cool. So I'm excited to get started with this. Do you have a name for your area yet?
Mine, I've been thinking on a few ones. It's going to be called Belen and the Sorrowing Tree.
The Sorrowing Tree? That sounds
Or
awesome.
something like that. It's gonna be ominous. I hope. I like dark stuff.
I like it too. Well, and it's it gives you just a little taste of what you might be building, but it also doesn't reveal too much because I'm like, man, there's so many ways you could go with the Sorrowing Tree. Let's go terraform.
I want to build everything right now, but no, I need to control myself.
Maybe I should have listened to Calvin's advice, but I did not control myself as I went on a massive terraforming spree, clearing almost all the trees from my region, smoothing out the land, and launching into adding a new ground texture. This would have been an absolutely monumental task in survival, but this is why I'm grateful to be playing in creative with tools like Axiom and World Edit. It's been a few more evenings and I've filled out a very large portion of the area, if you can't tell, but I want to talk over a couple of things before I continue. First off, I've been massively inspired by the recent game Expedition 33, but even before that, I love the Horizon games, and both of these games feature a unique environment where everything is kind of red and white as the main color schemes, and I've just been unable to get that bug out of my head to try building it in Minecraft, so here we are. I am super excited to try my hand at making a custom biome that uses those main colors. And you can see over here, I've started our unique flora and fauna, a little bit of these crimson roots, as well as some fire coral and fire coral fans, and then of course your nether warts as well. So a little bit of all these different red plants in the game. We're using some of the mangrove slabs that are waterlogged, or in this case, it's actually a stair that's waterlogged, to be able to keep these coral plants red and alive, and I'm absolutely loving it. This is just looking so alien, and yet at the same time, it's still survival, and that's pretty awesome. It would actually be insane to build this in survival, but you get the idea. As for the environment, we're still getting rid of a bunch of the green that's in here. Most of this is because I'm wanting to create a river that actually starts up here, comes down as a waterfall, because I just can't get over my waterfalls. I love them so much. And then in here, the river is going to then come out this way, and I've been doing a little bit of terraforming with Axiom to kind of carve in a river that comes out, but it was following kind of a natural river already if you go back and look at the time lapse, and I've just been making it a little bit deeper. But we're going to run into an issue here, because where all of these wool blocks are actually where the water height is for vanilla water, like ocean and everything, and as you travel along, the river is moving up, which is fine. It's getting more shallower and more shallow, and we end up getting all the way to just basic land. Like, this is actually ocean height here. So we're probably going to end up having to raise the land up a good bit in this area, especially if we want the river to actually flow down multiple levels on its journey out to the ocean. And so I'm going to have to play around a lot with it, because I actually wanted the land to be low on this side and then to raise up as we reach the edge out there, because all of the land is going to kind of come up to a really big hill, I guess. Not even really a mountain, because that's a mountain over there, all right? I think Rubik's is working on that mountain, but it's going to kind of go all the way up, and then there's going to be a big castle that's up on top of it with some cliffs that are kind of going over to the ocean or whatever, some really cool ocean views. I've got a lot of plans, okay? I've got a lot of plans. We got a lot of building that we're going to have to do in here. And speaking of building, I want you all to know that I am not getting rid of my solo creative world at all. I still plan to go back and continue to build in there, but I really wanted the experience of like an SMP, except that I don't play in survival because that just takes way too much time. I just don't have the time for it. So instead, the CMP is something that's going to be really fun, really cool, get to talk to a bunch of other really cool creators and see what they're building and work on some awesome collaborative builds as well. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that y'all are here to kind of join me on this adventure.
Speaking of new friends and adventures, we have a new member to welcome to the server.
Welcome, Ash, to Vindaria. It's so good to see you. It's actually really, really crazy, because I haven't had like the SMP multiplayer experience in so long. So it's really cool to be like, wait a minute, I've watched some of your videos before. It's so cool to see you in the actual game.
I'm glad to be here.
People have been sharing at least one thing about the region that they are going to be working on.
So, I mean, I'm working on Dustspire Pass, which is this sort of mesa valley separating between the savannah and the desert. It's like this it's this point where if you go around, you have to go around the mountains. So travelers go through this one section to, bring their goods to the desert city or something. I don't know, something like that.
I don't think that you have distant horizons, but if you do and you look off that direction, we can actually see on my side right where you're going to be working is right in there. I love the name of it. I love the name so much. I'll show you what I'm working on and get some feedback from you on what's your thoughts on what I'm building. And welcome to the Amberwoods.
Oh, Amberwoods. Whoa. Oh, that tree, it's red. This is cool.
Yeah, that's
what's going on here. All right.
That's what I've been working on. I don't do odd colored trees. I have never done this before. I am like, for the longest time, I have been a strict, if it's leaves, it's leaves. If it's not, it's not, And I'm trying to stretch my skills a little bit. I'm trying to stretch out and try something new. And so do you have any thoughts or feedback on on the red trees. There's a bigger one over here that is probably more akin to what I'm actually going to be building, because I built that other one and then I was like, this is too small. I need it to be taller. And so I built a larger, taller one over here.
Yeah, this is cool. I love the floating coarse dirt block up here.
Yes, that's my point one. It really adds to the vibrancy and the aesthetic. I thought
yeah,
it'll work
yeah,
really
no,
well.
I think it just really, yeah, looks like a particle.
Brings out the build.
Well, you know what? This tree, it kind of reminds me of the depths from Tears of the Kingdom. Have you ever played Tears of the Kingdom?
I have not. A lot of people have told me about it, but I have not actually played it.
Yeah, just this whole area reminds me of it. You wanted some feedback on this tree, right? Is
Yeah,
that
just
what
some
I'm hearing?
thoughts.
Oh.
Just some
Yeah.
oh, hey, have you thought about using this block?
have
The top should be
you,
bushier. And
thought of
I know
using
some
this
people
block?
use glass, and I'm like, I don't know if I can bring myself to use glass. Oh, yes. Have not messed around
could
with
look
the
like-
candles yet.
It could look like little leaves that are falling off. I've seen people do that with candles. Red glass could work here. It's kind of, I don't know. It might stand out a little too much, so I don't know. I see what you mean. With the coral and you have the waterlogged copper grates, that's really cool.
That's my survival friendly way, which is like, this is the most non-survival friendly custom biome ever, just for the type of blocks. But it technically is survival buildable, so I call it survival friendly for that reason.
I gotta give you kudos on that. Like, this is all actually in survival, and my first impression when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, that's a really cool tree that you can only build in creative. But I'm wrong, because you even waterlogged the stairs here for the coral fence. This is super ingenuitive. Is ingenuitive? Is that a word?
We'll take it. We'll count it as a word.
Yeah, I think it's a word. Yeah.
Okay, so then here's
Probably
my
you can see the branches when you look up.
Yes, that's my favorite way to build trees, is so that you can see all the branches and stuff.
And it's
just
very
looks like
realistic too. I mean,
so let me get one more feedback from you. I want to have giant, like, rock pillar things sticking out of the ground in particular areas and particular places. And sticking with the white and red aesthetic, I was like, well, what if these giant things were, giant white, rock, just big giant rock things? And then I'm like, wait, if I have white trees and white rocks, they're just gonna all blend and mix together. But I feel like if I go with black rock, it's like, deep slate or something. That's going to be too dark and weird, because you got like dark brown ground and then this dark black rock and then these white trees. But it might also add contrast. Or do I just go with like andesite and gray and just go with gray?
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, you could try out
so use tough.
andesite,
Okay,
you could
got
try
it.
out deep slate.
I'm because it's tough. So I was like, oh, yeah, use tough blocks.
Oh yeah, no wait, yeah, just use tough. There you go. It's tough.
Done. Solved.
But from what I've seen in the reference pictures you've used, a lot of them will tend to contrast greatly with something dark against the white. And honestly, yeah, tough is kind of a good choice.
Tough might be
unironically.
Unironically, I think if I use tough and then the pale moss, tough, the pale moss, and then I'm also, as we were talking, I was like, well, what if I use a bunch of the like coral stuff? Because I already have kind of a watery vibe, right? And so if a lot of my rocks were olive, this is like a purpley gray. That
it is. It might blend better with the tough. That
has some nice contrast without overshadowing the white of the trees. Okay, this is cool. This is actually, I think that is helpful. Is don't go deep slate, but don't go white either. And then get rid of all this nasty green. Get this green out of here. I can't stand it.
I'm
anti-green.
Red over here.
With a mind brimming with ideas, thank you, Ash. We dropped him off at the Dustspire Pass.
Welcome to the Dustspire Pass, Ash.
Thank you. Feels like home.
I cannot wait to see what you build with this, because this area, I've always wanted to do a Badlands build, and I just have not made the time to. Really looking forward to whatever it is you create.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. The inspiration is flowing.
All right, catch you later. Have fun.
Yeah, good luck with your region.
Thank you. Oh, you got armadillos? Hi, little buddy. So cute. So, as you probably noticed in that clip, time had kind of jumped forward because I had built a tree, and yes, it's true. I lost a little bit of footage when building the initial tree, and so instead you get these more completed trees. But let's talk about them. So this is the kind of ambiance and environment that I definitely was looking to have when I was talking about that white and red environment. And I think that these really large trees with all of the red leaves at the top, and maybe we can find a way to make them even more bushier, is going to look really, really good. And you'll see me up here start to kind of collect a number of trees that we can eventually come and help kind of spam around a little bit and save ourselves having to handcraft every single one. But I think for now, it's fine just to build a couple of them and get a feel for what it is that we're looking for. And when we have a bunch of these trees with their branches kind of intertwining over top of each other, creating all of these shadowed paths that you're kind of walking along through with all the branches hanging around above you, I think it's going to look really, really cool. And it's got a very unique atmosphere, a very unique vibe to it. It's kind of mushroomy, but mostly tree. And then with all of the red along the ground, I did come back in here and add some of the new dried grass as well. And I think that probably breaks up the red just a little bit, keeps our green out, but also keeps our ground really nicely textured. And then I've got kind of a path in here right now. I've got to work a little bit more on this, but it's just these path blocks, as well as the oak wood, the stripped oak wood, and some oak wood planks, because I really like having the slabs for our walkways kind of up and down certain things. But it's looking really, really good, and I think that by keeping it tall, we can start to kind of frame out. I need to put another tree right here that's kind of reaching over and framing out our viewpoints as we're walking along. B-Dubs talks about it a lot, is what are your viewpoints and how can you kind of shape the way that people look at your environment. But once we have a bunch of these trees around, they're going to look really, really nice. It's awesome, and I'm really enjoying the way that this is turning out. I think this is going to be really, really cool, and I'm thinking that there might be a possibility of coming back in here, and especially with these blocks, the nether wart block, using some of our sticky pistons and trying to get them to kind of shift and shuffle around a little bit in the wind, especially if we can use some calibrated skulk sensors kind of buried up here in the middle of all this red stuff. One of the nice things is that because they are solid blocks and you don't have the leaves where you can kind of see through things, it gives you a little bit more flexibility to kind of hide things in and around the different blocks. So I think it's coming along really well. To the archivists of the Adventurers Guild, wherever you are, if this is some prank casting some spell that teleported me to this strange land, very funny, but I'm ready to get back to my comfortable room in Senneberg. I'll be late for my ale with Lord Clestor, who promised an excellent story about mountain goats. In the meantime, I've collected rumors about a nearby land coated in red, a land called Amberwood. Whether by fungus or curse, the inhabitants of this small village cannot say what causes this red hue. Have you heard of such a thing? Red trees? Whatever the cause, while I'm stuck here, I may as well investigate, as that's what I do. But if I get eaten by some horrendous creature, I blame you, Joffrey. And no, you cannot have my favorite quill when I'm gone. Unsincerely, Jake. Well, what do you think is happening to this land? And I know I haven't gotten any fancy redstone, besides the beacon summoning beam, that was pretty cool. But we're just laying the groundwork for future projects, and I could not be happier with the direction our region is going. I've got something really cool planned for this river, but that means that I actually have to build the river first, which will be a project for future me. And so that'll be all for this Vindaria SMP episode 1, which is absolutely wild to say after almost 6 months of putting this all together. But I'll see you all in our next adventure.